So in the last video, we talked about the Denver identity crisis, and today we're going to take it a little bit deeper. Hi, I'm Jason, team lead of the Denver group. We are here for all your real estate needs, so please reach out if you have any questions. All right, so if you've walked through downtown Denver in the last couple of years, you've probably noticed felt very different. COVID hit downtown Denver harder than almost any comparably sized American city. Office vacancy climbed to 27%, nearly 7 points above the national average. Worse than Seattle, worse than Austin. Daily foot traffic dropped by 53,000 people compared to pre-pandemic levels. The 16th Street Mall, already aging, started to feel like a liability rather than an asset. But here's what I want to talk about today. Not the problem, but the response, because Denver isn't sitting on this. The city has made specific named dollar figure commitments to turning downtown around, and some of it is genuinely working. So let me walk you through what's actually happening. So before the recovery makes sense, you need to understand the scale of the problem because it's bigger than a lot of people realize. So 27% office vacancy rate. That's not just empty desks. That's the economic engine of downtown seizing up. And when offices empty out, the restaurants, dry cleaners, parking garages, lunch spots that serve those workers disappear with them. Downtown Denver lost that entire ecosystem almost overnight. 53,000 fewer daily pedestrians. That's not a small number. That's the difference between a street that feels alive and one that doesn't. And when streets feel empty, the perception of safety becomes a real issue, which compounded the problem. The 16th Street Mall specifically became the symbol of everything that felt broken. It was already 40 years old and hadn't been touched since IMP designed it in 1982. Add concentrated homelessness, reduced retail, and a light rail closure during renovation, and you had the front door of the city feeling like an afterthought. That's the baseline. And now here's what Denver is doing about it. Denver didn't just run marketing campaigns. The city made significant financial commitments. Let me walk you through the main ones. So $175 million went to the 16th Street renovation. This is the centerpiece of downtown recovery. The 16th Street Mall just finished a complete overhaul, 3.5 years of construction, fully reopened October 2025. Wider pedestrian walkways, new tree canopy, transit lanes moved to the center, new public art, new amenity zones. The grand opening drew close to 30,000 people, and they dropped the mall from the name, so now it's just 16th Street. That's intentional repositioning, not just a renovation. $570 million went to the Downtown Development Authority. The DDA has $570 million committed to downtown recovery. This isn't aspirational, it's already deploying that money. First round of funding approved office to residential conversions, including 2 historic buildings directly on 16th Street, the Sims building and the University building, both converting to apartments. The theory, put people living downtown, not just commuting there, and you fix the foot traffic problem around the clock. Almost 14,000 new residential units from office conversions in 2025 alone. That's a 55% jump from 2024. The math here is pretty straightforward. If remote work killed the reason to be downtown during business hours, the solution is making downtown a place people live. More residents means more retail demand at 7 p.m., not just at noon. $37 million went to the city buying Denver Pavilions. The city purchased the Denver Pavilions property directly and is developing a master plan to turn it into a genuine attraction. The goal, in the city's own words, is an attraction and new tax base and new activity that draws our public and our visitors into this part of downtown. Essentially, the city is betting that private development alone won't solve this corridor, so it stepped in as the developer. The Ball Arena redevelopment. This is 10 million square feet of mixed use. It's the longest timeline of the bunch, but arguably the biggest structural bet. The Kroenke-led redevelopment around Ball Arena is planning 10 million square feet of mixed use development, housing, retail, office, entertainment, turning what is currently a sea of surface parking lots into a walkable urban district. This is years years away from full realization, but it fundamentally changes the western edge of downtown. So Denver isn't the first city to face a downtown hollowing out problem. A few examples worth knowing because they show what success actually looks like. Cleveland's warehouse district. Cleveland's downtown was written off for years. The comeback was built on adaptive reuse, converting old warehouse and industrial buildings into residential lofts, restaurants, and creative office space. The key insight is don't try to recreate what was there before. Create something new that fits who's moving to cities now. Denver's office to residential conversion push is directly in this playbook. Nashville's Lower Broadway. Nashville's revitalization was entertainment and hospitality led. They leaned hard into what made the city distinctive rather than trying to compete on generic office attraction. Denver has a version of this available to it, and it's the outdoor and mountain identity combined with arts and food culture in Rhino and Lodi is the differentiator no other metro of Denver's size can replicate. Pittsburgh, Steel City, written off, came back through university anchors, medical institutions, and tech investments that followed. Denver's tech and business ecosystem growth is the analog here, in addition to a growing list of financial services firms that have made Denver a real secondary hub. There is a common thread. Cities that recovered successfully didn't try to recreate 2019. They built something new that fit 2025 realities. Denver's bet is residential density plus entertainment plus outdoor identity, and that is a legit formula. So is it working? My honest answer here, early signs are real, but it is not done. 16th Street renovation is the most tangible win. It's great. The foot traffic data from the reopening is genuinely encouraging. 30,000 people at a street opening is not nothing. The physical space is dramatically better. Whether the retail and restaurant ecosystem rebuilds around it is the next question, and that takes 2 to 3 years to answer. The residential conversion pipeline is moving along. Again, 1,400 units is meaningful. The theory that more residents fix the foot traffic problem has strong evidence behind it from other cities, but the timeline is 3 to 5 years before you feel it at street level. The Ball Arena District is generational. If it executes, and the track record of large mixed-use districts says it partially will, it transforms the western edge of downtown in a way that compounds everything else. But that's a 10-year story. That doesn't happen in 3 years. So what does this mean for buyers, homeowners, investors? The urban core is not the same risk profile as a suburban purchase. You're buying into a recovery thesis, not a finished product. For the right buyer, someone who wants to be part of what Denver is building, who has a 5+ year horizon, and who's buying in the right building in the right block, the upside is definitely real. For someone who needs a finished, stable neighborhood tomorrow, the suburbs deliver that more reliably right now. So that's the honest picture. Denver is spending very real money, making real bets, and showing early real results. Whether it fully delivers is a 5-year question, not a 5-month question. So if you want to understand the city and suburbs side by side, which neighborhoods in the urban core are actually delivering on this recovery thesis and which ones I tell my clients to look at, that's going to be the next video. Make sure to follow along. Again, I'm Jason, team lead with the Denver Group. We want to be your resource and guide for all things Denver real estate. Thanks.